If your phone steals your focus every time you sit down to study, then listen carefully. This video is for you.
In a quiet coastal town, surrounded by deep blue seas and old pine forests, there lived a boy named Ethan. From a young age, everyone knew Ethan was gifted. He learned things quickly, answered questions before others had even understood them, and could solve puzzles adults struggled with. People often said, "That boy will go far, no doubt about it." But there was one thing Ethan could never do: stay focused. His mind was always running somewhere, sometimes into games, sometimes into endless dreams of the future, and most often into the glowing screen of his phone. He had a dream of becoming a scientist, someone who discovers new things and changes the world. Yet despite his dream, Ethan never studied properly. Whenever he sat at his desk, his mind whispered, "There's still time. I'll start later." But later almost never came. His mother would gently remind him, "Ethan, talent doesn't shine without effort." His teachers would warn, "Being clever isn't enough for exams." But Ethan believed that brains alone would carry him through life. Months passed, and the school announced a national science scholarship exam, a golden chance for students like Ethan to get closer to their dream. Ethan felt a spark of excitement. "If I win this, I'll prove to everyone how smart I am," he thought. His friends studied day and night. Ethan made plans too, but his plans dissolved into distraction. One moment scrolling on social media, next moment daydreaming about success without doing the work. When the results finally came, Ethan's heart pounded. He imagined cameras, applause, and everyone praising his genius. But when he found his name, everything froze. He had failed. Not just by a few marks. He wasn't even close. His friends who studied consistently did brilliantly. Teachers who once showered him with praise now only sighed and looked away. Ethan felt the weight of disappointment pressing on him. That evening, instead of celebrating, he sat alone on the seawall, watching the waves crash against the rocks. In that silence, Ethan asked himself, "How did everything go wrong?" He knew the answer. It wasn't a lack of intelligence. It was a lack of discipline. While he was busy dreaming about success, others were quietly working for it. The next morning, Ethan made a decision. If he truly wanted to become a scientist, talent alone was not enough. He needed to train his mind the same way athletes trained their bodies. But how? He remembered hearing stories about Master Lee, a retired martial arts instructor who now taught mind discipline to kids who couldn't focus. People said Master Lee could take the most restless child and turn him into someone sharp as a blade. Nervous but determined, Ethan went to Master Lee's small dojo near the edge of town. The dojo smelled of wood polish, chalk dust, and old leather mats. Master Lee was sitting cross-legged on the floor, calm, silent, still as a statue. Ethan bowed slightly and said, "Master Lee, I want to learn how to control my mind. I want to focus. I want to become disciplined." His voice trembled as he spoke. Master Lee looked at him carefully and said, "The mind is the hardest thing to command. Even I don't always defeat mine. Why do you want to?" Ethan told him about the scholarship, his dream of science, and how his mind betrayed him every time he tried to study. Master Lee listened without interrupting. When Ethan finished, Master Lee stood up and said, "Come with me." They walked outside to the courtyard where a tall bamboo pole stood with a small bell hanging from its top. Master Lee placed a smooth stone in Ethan's hand and said, "Hit the bell." Ethan laughed. "With this, it's impossible." Master Lee nodded. "Hit the bell." Ethan threw the stone. It flew wide and landed in the grass. He tried again and again, each time missing completely. His shoulders grew heavy with frustration. Master Lee asked, what were you looking at?" Ethan replied, "The pole, the bell, the birds above, and the trees moving in the wind." Master Lee shook his head. "Too many targets. The mind cannot hit what the eye does not fix on." Then he took the stone himself. His hand moved slowly, breath steady, eyes unblinking. He threw the stone. Ting! The bell rang sharply. Ethan stared in awe. "How did you do that?" "Focus," Master Lee said. "When you aim at everything, you hit nothing." After a pause, he added, "Your mind is like a river. If it flows everywhere, it is weak. But if you guide it, it can carve through mountains." Over the next weeks, Master Lee taught Ethan the 4 rules of discipline. Rule 1. Control your thoughts. When his mind drifted, Ethan learned to bring it back gently, without anger or panic. Rule 2. Create a routine. Master Lee made him wake up early, study at set times, rest at set times, and review in the evening. Slowly, the brain began to obey the clock. Rule 3. Remove distractions. The phone was locked away during study hours. Games became rewards instead of habits. Rule 4. Practice daily. No matter how tired he was or how boring it felt, Ethan practiced focus every day. Small habits became strong foundations. At first, Ethan hated it. His mind resisted like a wild horse. But day by day, the chaos quieted. He began to enjoy learning. He began to feel proud, not of being smart, but of being consistent. Months later, another science exam was announced. This time, Ethan didn't boast. He simply worked. On the day of the exam, Ethan walked in calmly. No rush, no panic, no last-minute chaos. When the results came, Ethan didn't just pass. He earned the highest score in the region. His parents cried tears of joy, and even Master Lee allowed himself a small smile. As Ethan stepped onto the stage to receive his scholarship, he remembered Master Lee's words. "Talent makes you capable. Discipline makes you unstoppable." From that day on, Ethan carried one belief in his heart. Train the mind, and success will follow.